Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We have John Hope Bryant. Welcome back, brother.
My honor to be here.
How you feeling?
I'm blessed.
If John O'Brien is here, that means that there's some good things going on in the world. First of all, you came bearing gifts.
Or bad.
Or bad, yeah, or bad. But at least the things that are bad, you can explain.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to some financial stuff.
Rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. It's a scientific fact, actually.
Well, let's jump right into it. I was actually thinking about you the other day.
Shout out to these socks, first of all.
The socks.
yeah.
He brought us some gifts.
So Walmart made these for us. This is Green Socks Day. You can go online and get them. They're April 30th. We've got the NBA, NFL, thank you, Roger Goodell, NASCAR, hockey, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer. I think that's all of them. We have all of them. It's never happened before. All the sports leagues are behind Green Socks Day. So I'm asking everybody to put a sock on and talk about financial literacy on April 30th. Do something on financial literacy. Tag Green Socks Day on your social media. Highlight a post. And NASDAQ's going to feature the best posts on its big board here in New York on April 30th. And the 10 top posts, we're going to fly them to New York City, let them ring the bell to the New York Stock Exchange.
That's dope.
Wow.
In May.
Nice.
So this is the way, people are arguing over black and white, red and blue. Can we just agree on some green?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's why the socks are green.
That's why they are.
Absolutely.
So, yes, we want the whole country to come together on April 30th. And this is Financial Literacy Month, by the way.
Okay. Now, I was thinking about, just speaking of the country, with all the tariffs that Trump is putting on the country, right? And, people are looking to purchase their first homes or all that. What would you advise people to do, right? Because they're saying with the tariffs, they're saying the price of materials are going to go up in price. They're saying the price of cars and the parts are going to be shooting up. What would you advise people to do if they're looking for home ownership at this point in their life?
This is going to seem schizophrenic in my advice.
Okay,
So
I'm listening.
I'm telling you in advance, ignore the noise, first of all. This is just noise. Just like DEI was a distraction. Like, why are we arguing over DEI? We're fifth on the list. Why are we the poster child for DEI, right? But they wanted us to be the poster child. Somebody did. Somebody wanted black people to be, because that triggers racial overtones and all that other kind of stuff. Wasn't even our fight. This is not our fight. This is somebody else's problem at the moment. This is like hitting, if you want to get in a fight, this is like hitting your face on my fist. If you want to fight, that's what this is. This country is 70% consumer spending. Sorry, the biggest economy on the planet, America. We're 25% of the global economy. We're 40% of global wealth in the world. We're big ballers. Out of 8 billion people, there's only 350 million people, but we lead the whole world. But 70% of this economy, it's not rich people. It's not big business. It's you and me paying for car notes and mortgages and going to get some coffee, which didn't work outside. It's little stuff. It was the car service that brought me here. It's a breakfast that we had this morning. So this economy can't succeed without us succeeding, first of all. So this party ultimately will pivot back to what's going to drive the economy, because this is a capitalist democracy. Big C, little d. It's a free enterprise democracy. So I tell people, ignore the noise. This stuff, if it's not working, Washington's going to have to pivot. There's a strategy in Washington. I was with the Secretary of the Treasury a couple of days ago, who I actually like. I think he's actually a decent guy.
Please break that down, because I need to know what the strategy is. I don't understand it.
Well, no, I didn't say I understood it.
Okay.
You've gone too far.
Okay.
I said, first of all, I like him, and he and I are going to work together on financial literacy. We're not going to agree on everything. I was with him for an hour. I didn't address this issue because his boss has already made up his mind, and I know I didn't want to put him in an uncomfortable situation, ask him questions that he can't answer. This has to play itself out. I mean, the country's having one big colonic, right?
Damn.
So it's going to take as long as it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take very long. You and I talked about this. And either he's right or he's not. The only way tariffs work, and I could break down what a tariff is, by the way, because most people don't understand it. The only way a tariff works is if it's short term and it's tied to you negotiating something from whoever you're trying to extract something from, another country. If it's your long-term strategy in a country that is consumer spending, it's a disaster. because it's a tax on you and me. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
So you think this is a short-term?
What is the tariff, first of all?
Let me ask you this question to yours.
Go ahead.
You do the tariff first, because that goes into mine.
Now, this is really important for your audience. I mean, because people throw these titles, and I did a podcast on Money and Wealth last week. It went through the roof, just explaining like normal terms that people, recession and tariff and inflation. People assume people know this stuff. Who's teaching anybody financial literacy? You're not dumb and you're not stupid. It's what you don't know that you don't know that's killing you, but you think you know. A tariff, and as simple as I can describe it, is a tax on American businesses and American consumers. So this concept of you hit me, you're China, by the way, Russia didn't get a tariff. Interesting. You're Russia, you're wherever, India, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. No. A tariff might, because the cost of the thing has gone up, might mean we find Chinese goods less attractive. We find Indian goods less attractive because what costs $1 now costs $1.80. So maybe we say, I don't want any more of that. But the importer of the thing pays the tax. It's hard to get a straight face. The American business pays the tax at the duty station. And what is that importer going to do? What is a big company going to do when they get hit with higher prices that are no fault of their own?
They increase
They raise prices.
and everything.
It's common sense. This is a radical movement of common sense. They pass that on to you and me. So our prices of everything is going to go up unless in a month he changes his mind again, which he's apt to do, and says, I was just kidding. Now let me go one step further and tell you how the only way this could have worked. If he's saying he wants to promote domestic production, he wants to bring everything back home. Fair argument. Although American manufacturing, you're very good. As a manufacturing hub of old school manufacturing ended in the 1970s. That's why there's more poor whites in America than poor anybody else, because they had a high school education, hustle, and the jobs that they were doing walked away. In 1940, 1950, Detroit was the richest city in the world.
For automotive.
In the world, richer than Paris, richer than every place. Now it's one of the poorest because the business plan for manufacturing walked away from America. It went to places that were cheaper. Now we can be a manufacturing center today, but it's going to be high-tech manufacturing. It's going to be artificial intelligence and robotics, which you need education for. Back to the story. Right. The only way this would have worked is if the president said, a year before he elected, get all the bankers together, get all the Fortune 500 companies together. Hey, look, you guys, I'm going to be president in a year. Just believe me. What I need you to do, go to your boards, go to your governance committees at the boards, go to your bankers who allocate capital, go to Wall Street, tell them I'm coming, and tell them to put capital aside for manufacturing at home. Also, because I'm going to have tariffs. Also, I need you to go to Staten Island. I need you to go to little towns in Cleveland. I need you to go to Detroit, wherever, and cut deals for land. I'm just breaking this down.
Right.
And get the cities to support you. And by the way, you're going to need, if you're going to AI, you're going to need a bunch of energy to fuel these AI factories. So you need to get some, electricity and water things generated. I'm going to give you a year because it's going to be tens of billions of dollars in investment. And know that I'm committed to this my whole presidency. This is a new America. And the CEOs go, okay, we're with you. We want to bring this back. And by the way, what's in it for us? And he has these economic models that shows blah, blah, blah over a period of time. This is going to be short-term pain, long-term gain. Okay, none of that happened.
Damn.
So there's no way. I'm not for or against. I'm just saying, I like math because it doesn't have an opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, my friend Stevie Wonder can see this. None of this is going to work long-term because there is no planning.
So you think this is a ploy for Trump to get what he wants? You think it's a short-term play and not a long-term play when it comes to these tariffs?
I didn't say I understood it. I said I was going to explain it. Look, he's been talking about tariffs since 1980.
Yeah.
Go to interviews of him from 1980s. He's obsessed with it. I have no idea where he got this from. It's like new math. My calculator works pretty well. Mm-hmm. Unless he is the most intelligent being on the planet, unless he has a whole new way of viewing economics, I just don't understand it. I'm pretty good at it. I just don't understand. That's why the markets are in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's why CEOs are scratching their head, but no one wants to say anything because you don't want to get on his bad side. Look, I want him to win. I'll say it. He's my president. Whatever.
He's all our president.
The election's over.
That's right.
He's my president. I want him to win because if he wins,
We all win.
if he loses,
We all lose. That's
so
a
we
fact.
can't, this trying to wish him well and going to Louisiana getting little dolls. It's that time.
God damn. Who you been talking to, John? That's what they doing?
Hey man, I hear all kind of stuff. No. Pray for your president. Pray for your country. We're all in this thing together. Like real talk. But and here's my way of thinking: talk without being offensive. Listen without being defensive, and always leave even your adversary with their dignity.
Mm.
Because if you don't, they'll spend the rest of their life working to make you miserable. It becomes personal.
Mm-hmm.
You got to step over mess and not in it. He is the president of the United States of America. He's, as you can see from the executive orders, he's incredibly powerful. He's not a king, but he has incredible power. And we're going to see that some of the stuff he's doing is a bridge too far. It's going to get reversed. But he has incredible power with the pen. So we need to walk delicately here. It's an interesting relationship. I was in a relationship years and years ago. Luckily, I have a wonderful wife. When I was a kid, I was in a relationship with somebody who was emotionally immature, which didn't say much for me. I picked her, but it was like an emotional hand grenade. But I was already in it, and I had to really be careful how I put that hand grenade back down on the ground so it didn't explode and tear me up. This is where we are. We have to be very delicate about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to find some way to help him feel like he won. Like, I don't know what it is, but whatever in the next 30 days, next 45 days, 'cause this is not sustainable, we got to give him some out. The country, other leaders, the way he feels, yeah, my tariff strategy won. Otherwise, this economy will slow, and your prices will go up. You already had inflation from let's clear something else up. It's too late for this. Biden created inflation. Ridiculous. Completely wrong. In fact, it was Trump, then the Republican Democrat Congress, and Biden. Everybody passed $5-6 trillion worth of stimulus during the pandemic so the economy didn't stall, because the economy was going to stall when everybody was in their houses because it's a consumer-driven economy. And that plus the Federal Reserve, there's about $6-7 trillion, actually more like $9 trillion, that win the economy. That's where the inflation came from, when you have an imbalance of supply and demand. So you have too much supply, money, not enough demand, it inflates the cost of things.
So all the stimulus checks and the PPP loans everybody loved,
that part.
caused inflation.
That part.
Yes.
And it ain't going away, and I said ain't on purpose, because there's never been in the history, DJ Envy, in the history of the world, there's never been $1 trillion of stimulus by any government at any time ever. Mm-hmm. And we did $9 trillion. Let that sink in. So how long do you think it's going to take for that to work through your transmission system? Mm-hmm. So of course, we're lucky we don't have 12% inflation. We're lucky we don't have 18% unemployment. Like what Biden should have done, he should have come in and said, I'm going to be president for 4 years. I'm your dude. I'm going to stabilize everything. I'm going to drop the mic. I'm going to bounce. I'm only here for 4 years. That's what he should have done. He should have said that up front and been done with it. His legacy would have been fantastic. But you get in that office, I've been an advisor for 3 U.S. presidents. It's intoxicating.
That power.
That power is intoxicating. You don't want to leave.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the government will...
So yes, you should buy a house, by the way.
So people should buy a house.
But see,
Don't change your game. Don't change your plan. Change your mind. This noise is going to ultimately go away. 3 things have never gone down in the history of America. GDP, gross domestic product, real estate's values, and stock market values. They've gone up. There's a recession. It corrects above the line after the recession. It recedes, and then corrects above the line. Every time somebody makes an emotional decision, it's a bad one. Poor people sail in bad times. What did Warren Buffett say? When people are afraid, be greedy. When people are greedy, be afraid. Okay, you were about to say something.
I was going to ask you. I was going to say, with that type of thinking, the prices of everything are going to go up, right, in the next couple of months, we assume, right?
Yeah.
Because building costs are expensive.
Interest rates
lumber,
might come down, by the way.
Metals and all that, right? You said what about interest rates?
They might come down.
And my interest rates might come down. Same thing with costs.
Which the president is banking on, by the way.
So if somebody
But it won't
buys
be
these houses and these properties, or they buy these cars, or they buy these materials, and the prices are up, when this game that we're thinking that he's playing, which is a short-term game, changes back in a couple of months and he takes these tariffs off, and now those goods are less money you bought when it was high, does that hurt, help, affect?
Well, you're assuming the goods are going to come back down in price.
If the tariffs come off, shouldn't they?
You're assuming that the price is going to back down. Greed is an interesting thing. There were, during the pandemic, there were container companies, the ones who put the stuff on ships, because we're all run through international trade. By the way, 25% of the U.S. economy is international trade. Mm-hmm. So there was container companies who were found to be gouging prices for no good reason. The prices had, temporarily there was not enough of them, and the prices went up. But then they kept the prices high because it was, layering their pockets. So Ambassador Andrew Young says that men and women fail for 3 reasons: arrogance, pride, and greed. And greed is the oldest thing on the book. The only time Jesus Christ ever got upset was when he turned the table over the money changers in the temple. That's the only time he got upset. So I think that because we're the biggest economy in the world, because it's consumer spending, because capitalists ultimately want to win, prices will come down to meet the demand of the consumer, but it's not going to be like flipping a switch. And what somebody in Washington thinks, in my opinion, that if you trigger a mild recession, I don't agree with this. Mm-hmm. You trigger a mild recession. You can blame it on the other guy. I don't agree with that either. I hope this is translating to your audience when I say the other guy. Mm-hmm. You blame it on the other guy, not the current president. You then get the Fed to lower interest rates, which, by the way, helps wealthy people like me, but doesn't help the average everyday person. Mm-hmm. And then the economy booms, and you're golden for midterm elections. Some people believe that. I just don't think that that's rational. And I think the timing is going to be all messed up. Even if that did work, I don't think it's going to work. Here's the problem. The White House, I've known 9 U.S. presidents. I've worked with 12 secretaries of the Treasury. I've been an advisor for 3 U.S. presidents, both parties. I've been honored by 5 from both parties. I've never seen a White House where 99% of the people are either centimillionaires or billionaires. The advisors. Now, I'm very wealthy, but I go to the hood once a month.
That's right.
Once a month.
Yeah, intentionally. I tell my driver, wherever I'm at, take me to wherever the hood is. And they're all freaked out. I want to see it. I want to see how we're living. I want to see those check cashers, payday loan lenders. I want to get out and go into a grocery store, a convenience store. I want to listen. What's up? I want to listen to I want to get in the Uber driver. I want to get in the taxi.
You want to talk to the people talk about, but never talk to.
That's right. So if you are a centimillionaire, 100 million, if you are a billionaire, you've been taking private travel for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Now, when I go through, I do Delta, but when I go through, I'm with a coach for all 100,000 Delta employees at Operation Hope. When I was on Delta yesterday, now they pick me up at the curb, do that whole thing, so it feels like private. But by the way, I had to 3 months ago, something happened. My greeter wasn't there. I had to go through the airport terminal. I was traumatized.
Cut it out, John.
Not you traumatized.
I'm saying, traumatized. You had to carry your own bag, John? Oh, my goodness.
No. I was like, where are these people? Where are these people at? Where they coming from? What they doing? What are these kids screaming?
Oh, God.
Why is this lady in here taking her clothes off?
Man,
I'm just saying. Well, I think it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You're going to use that Penn Station.
Yeah. My point is that I'm pretty normal, and took me a minute to readjust to being in a airport terminal because I hadn't been there in months. Imagine if you've been taking private planes your whole life or your last 20 years. I love it, by the way. Oh, one day I have a private plane somebody else paid for.
You have the people have no idea what's going on.
That's right. You've never been to a grocery store.
That's right.
You've never been to a gas station. You haven't been to a bus station.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
You should fly Southwest or Spirit one time. You'll get.
No, I'm good. But it's impossible to make policy for the average person if you don't understand.
You're not connected to them in any way.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. I love the conversation we're having, but I want to put some boots on the ground with it. When you talk about these working class people, the average everyday person living check to check, just trying to pay their rent, just trying to buy groceries, What should they do in regards to these tariffs? Like, could you tell, you're telling everybody else just to be cool and silence the noise. They don't have that luxury.
Oh, no, this is our time. I mean, you can't fall from the floor. Black folks, and brown folks, we've been doing so much with so little for so long, we can almost do anything with nothing. I mean, the crisis for us is Tuesday.
That's right.
We've been dealing with crisis. I mean, we wake up in crisis. This is actually our asset and our problem. Before now, it was just our problem. I wrote, my last book is Financial Literacy for All, which, by the way, thanks for helping me launch. It's still #1 a year later in business finance. Not just black history or something. It's business finance in the world. But 2 books before was a book called The Memo. And in the memo, I said basically there's something that is what we don't know that we don't know. No one gave us a memo on how the economy works. And I said there's 3 types of people. There's a surviving mindset, there's a thriving mindset, there's a winning building mindset. Wealthy people talk about their ideas. Poor people talk about other people. So if you have a surviving mindset, the glass is half empty, not half full. It's the same glass. But whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right.
You're right.
So to your point, in a normal environment, the surviving mindset is at a significant disadvantage because your ability to hustle has no value whatsoever. Your ability to avoid a bill or avoid a 1-800 number, was that Chris Roques said, I don't know nobody want a 1-800 number. I'm not answering the phone as a bill collector. Our ability to maneuver the system has no value in a growing, thriving economy. You got to build something, buy something, do something, roll with something, understand something. But when things are tough, that understanding is actually an asset. So now we need to take that understanding, pull it forward, and start doing basic stuff. Go get yourself a term life insurance policy. You can get it for $10 a month for if you're in good health. $25,000, $50,000 policy, as little as $10 a month. Because I don't know how long you're gonna live, but I dang sure know you're gonna die. So there is your generational wealth. For $100 a month, if you're in good health, $1 million policy, DJ. $1 million policy. There's your generational wealth right there. Go get you a term life insurance policy, create a will. My mother said she had a little in her will. She worked an hourly job for 32 years. And she bought and sold and 7 homes. She had a credit score of 854 when it went that high. She died, she had $1 million net worth. In her will was a poison pill. Anybody who pushes back on this will is deleted from it.
Wow.
Crickets. Wow. Nobody said anything. But my mother worked an hourly job, had $1 million net worth, which means anybody can do it. So she had a will, she had a life insurance policy, she got her earned income tax credit. So what's that? Anybody listening to this who make less than $60,000 a year, get EITC. If you make $38,000 a year, you listen to this and you're in a town anywhere and you have 3 children, the government owes you $6,500 cash. If you never filed, it's retroactive for 3 years. So anybody listening to this who makes $40,000 and goes, what did he say? You have a check. So that's
if you have 3 children.
No. In other words, anybody makes $60,000 or less, you get a check. The less money and the more kids, as long as you're working, the bigger the check.
Gotcha.
So the sweet spot, $38,000, $40,000, 3 kids. But if you have $45,000 and 1 kid, you still get a check.
Gotcha.
And 1 out of 4 Americans who qualify for EITC never ask for it. That's $20 billion a year. That's not going away.
Got you.
Child tax credit. Everybody needs to become like it. We need to become nosy. Everybody's reading the Constitution, Bill of Rights right now. Like, what's these executive orders? I want you to learn about financial literacy now. This is your time to surge, whatever the city programs are, the state programs, the federal programs. Banks do down payment assistance for poor people, DJ Envy. In fact, the worse it gets, the more the banks want to dig in. So a bank, a FDIC insured bank, if you can get your credit score up, and we can help you do that at Operation Hope, and that's the other thing you need to do is get your credit score up, the banks will give you $10,000 in a grant, plus under market mortgages. So even though the mortgage for a rich person like me might be 6.5%, used to be, I got a 2.7% mortgage. I'll never get rid of that one. But you can't get that anymore. But for Community Reinvestment Act, CRA, you might get it for 4%, 5%. Plus you get a $10,000 down payment assistance grant. That's only available to the least of these God's children, but we don't know about it. So I just now covered home ownership. Earned income tax credit is your down payment maybe for home ownership. Get your credit score up. We have this meeting on April 4th tomorrow, actually.
The Dream Forward. We're going to talk about it.
And we got a business plan for Black America, a business plan for Latino America, a business plan for women, a business plan for Asians, a business plan for Native American Indians. I wrote them. A business plan for poor whites, rural America. I wrote all the plans. And in one plan, it shows that if you rely on the government, Black people, or first off, if you do nothing, our net worth will be zero by 2053. Not poor people, everybody. If Black Americans do nothing but what we're doing right now, just chilling, net worth by 2053 is zero. If we rely on the government, which we've been obsessing about since the Civil War, understanding the Civil War, understanding Reconstruction, understanding the Civil Rights Movement, understanding the Second Reconstruction, I don't understand now. We're all uptight, worked up about what's going on in Washington. Let's assume they get a deathbed conversion and they decide they love Black people overnight. They're going to give us welfare. They're going to give us reparations, everything.
That's not going to happen. But
no. But it's worth $300 billion to a maximum of $600 billion. Now hold that number by 2053. That's only 25 years from now. If you raise your credit score 100 points, Black people have the lowest credit score on average in America, 620, which means half of us wake up in the morning locked out of the free enterprise system. Can't get a decent car loan. You go to the car dealership, you get a Mercedes at 18% interest. It's not a Mercedes, it's Mercedes payments. And it breaks down in 4 months because the one way they make money is maintenance and finance department. They don't even make any money selling the car. They're waiting for you to bring it back. Financial literacy. But if you get your credit score up 100 points, that's $750 billion by 2053. That's $150 billion more than the best estimate of the government's assistance. And we can do that by ourselves. Become homeowners. That's $800 billion. Separate from the $750 billion. That's 1.5, give or take, trillion dollars. And that doesn't even require the government. We can do this ourselves. There's another $1 trillion on buying businesses. Am I going too far, too fast?
You bring
please.
They got to do their research. They got to listen
No,
to
but,
it a few times.
but to break it down is there's tiers when it comes to credit. So like when you say somebody go into a car dealership and they're trying to buy, he said a Mercedes, it's a Mercy dealership, right? A Mercy note. So if your tier is 4 or 5 or 6,
forget about it.
Your credit rate, if your car is usually $400 a month, it's going to be $1,100 a month. But if you have tier 1 credit, you probably have to put down less money, and your note is only $400 money just based off your credit. Same thing with home ownership. Same thing with credit cards that you buy at the store, whether it's Nordstrom, Sears, JCPenney, Macy's. So that's what he's saying as far as the tiers when it comes to credit.
Yeah, let's go one step further. The places where we grow up, check casher, next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, as in the title of your car.
Yep.
Pawn shop, liquor store,
right there.
church down the street. The church, your local therapist. They try to make sure you don't go cray-cray once a week. Make sure you don't go postal on Monday.
Right.
All right? And by the way, poor white, same thing. You go to a poor white rural neighborhood, check casher, payday loan lender, rent-to-own store, title lender, liquor store. They just pray, church. They just pray differently. They're quiet and we loud.
Oh, you forgot about the fried chicken spot too.
Yeah, the curry house.
Well, yeah,
Gonna be a church
fast
or
food,
something,
fast
Popeye or
food,
something.
yeah, fast food.
Fry.
New York's fried
By the way,
chicken.
you lived to 61 years of age. I mapped every zip code in America by credit score. You lived to 61 years of age in a 500 credit score neighborhood. You lived to 81 years of age, 15 minutes apart in a 700 credit score neighborhood. You live 20-year longer life because of your credit score. And it's not about the credit score. It's the trending indicators underneath that: hope, well-being, faith, confidence, belief, optimism. What disease is often dis-ease.
Yeah, keep your stress levels down. Yeah.
Keeps your stress level. So again, surviving mindset. Do you have a surviving mindset? You're stressed out. You're full of anxiety. If you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. You're up. You're toe up from the flow up. You're gonna die early, and you're eating bad food. So this is a game, man. What did Malcolm X say? We've been bamboozled. We've been tricked. We've been fooled. We've been hoodwinked. Here's one for you. Everybody wants to start a business. I love that. I've got this thing called 1 Million Black Business Initiative. Shopify put up $130 million after George Floyd's murder. They just announced they're putting up another $60 million to help me get to $190 million, because they can't be happier with all the businesses that are Black businesses that are now on the Shopify platform. It's not DE&I, it's good business. By the way, the president of Shopify is speaking at the Martin Luther King Dream Forward Initiative, Harley Finkelstein. It's business for them, which is what we want. Now,
Inclusive economics.
Inclusive economics, which you helped me pioneer, by the way. So stick with that for a minute. So we got all these business people. They want to be business people now. They want to start a pizzeria, or something, I need $50,000. You do a GoFundMe or whatever it is, and you hustling, and the bank won't give you the money. They want you to personally guarantee your house, all that stuff. It's easier. It is easier for somebody to go to Wall Street, which is where we are, and get financed a $20 million business with non-recourse debt, which means you don't personally guarantee it, than it is to start a pizzeria with a $100,000 loan from the bank. Now that to your audience sounds absolutely crazy. Let me break it down. We have the first generation, our generation, where you're going to have more people over 65 than under 18. These are white, wealthy baby boomers, all trying to go retire and play golf at the same time. So there's about $400 trillion of wealth in the world. About 180 trillion of that is in the United States. About 50 trillion of that was created since 2020. These are ridiculous numbers. 50 trillion of that was just created in the last 25 years. These baby boomers made a crap load of money. They're balling, billionaires, centimillionaires. They want to go play golf. They want to enjoy their life. They want to be on their yacht. God bless them. They're all leaving the stage at the same time. 40% of this country is now black and brown. This is why everybody's nervous, by the way. Black and brown. These are the new entrants to the economy. Within 10 years, it's going to be a majority of minorities. By the way, a third of the economy is women. $7 trillion. So it's black, brown, women, right? Some people are nervous about who's taking over. This is a whole nother conversation, but this is fueling the political environment, by the way, in my opinion, which is what you're seeing in Washington. Go back to the numbers. So now what's happening with this the $100 trillion worth of wealth, DJ Envy, is about to transition through inheritance in the next 10 years. The wives and the husbands and the kids want the stocks, the bonds, the cash, and the houses. They don't want the businesses. They're like, oh no, I'm good. I don't understand it. I don't want to do it. I want to go enjoy my life. First generation makes it. Second generation spends it. Third generation loses it. But don't mind me with the facts. I've already made up my mind. I want the cash. That means there's about $15 trillion. Please, audience, listen to this. This is making smart sexy on scale. There's $15 trillion of profitable, successful, branded, real estate having, client having, nothing wrong with them, businesses that nobody wants. Go buy them. They're already cash flowing. There's nothing wrong with them except the kids and the family don't want them.
Too comfortable.
I don't know what it is, but it's an opportunity. So I think I started this by saying rainbows after storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. Don't look at a problem as a problem. Look at it as an opportunity. All capitalism is solving problems. So, yes, it's going to get tight. We're used to tight. Black folks are born on probation in America. You got to be twice as smart, twice as intelligent, twice as well-dressed, get up twice as early, stay up twice as late, and work twice as hard, and hustle, and get no credit for it. Okay, what else is new? This is our life story. Everybody else is not used to problems. They're the ones that are going to be jumping off of one-story buildings. We're going to counsel our white friends about calm down. This is going to be okay. So I'm actually quite optimistic about the future.
And what are you doing this weekend? You're doing something special this weekend, correct?
Dream Forward, a virtual town hall on financial inclusion. That's why I love John, because he always has a solution. He's not one of the people that's just always constantly talking about problems and trying to profit off the problems. He's creating solutions to the problems.
So Dream Forward, thank you, Charlamagne. Dream Forward, which you're involved in, and I would love to have all of you involved in, by the way, because you're all voices for this generation. This is a meeting between Republicans and Democrats. We have Senator Raphael Warnock, who is the fifth pastor of Ebenezer Church and a Democratic senator. We have Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff for Trump. We have the Black Pope, Bishop T.D. Jakes. We have the man who was on the balcony with Dr. King, Ambassador Andrew Young. We have Dr. King's daughter, Dr. Bernice A. King. She's a great person. We've got the mayor of Memphis, Paul Young, who's black now, by the way. We've got the CEO of Walmart. We've got Doug McMillan, who's co-chair of Financial Literacy for All, which is doing the Green Sox Day. By the way, we can talk about, if you want DI, I'll be happy to talk about that as well. People have misunderstood that as well, in my opinion. We've got
Our brother Killer Mike,
T.I. Van Jones, I'm just going off the top of my head here. Ray
Tashawn
McGuire of
Duckett.
Lazard. Tasana Duckett, who runs a $2 trillion company called TIAA-CREF, which does basically pension funds. All your pension funds and investment accounts are probably with TIAA-CREF. It is an amazing lineup. I just talked to Dr. Ben Chavis this morning. There's 100 delegates, founding delegates of Mark Morrell, the National Urban League. Everybody who you think of or may not have known about who is at the top of the mark, they're going to be there. In fact, we just announced yesterday the drop the mic keynote to walk out the stage is Sam Altman, who is the Steve Jobs of this generation. That's AI. So it is a way to honor Dr. King, not by just marching in the streets, but cutting business deals in the suites. It is continuing his unfinished work of the Poor People's Campaign. It is his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? It's answering that with a dream forward. And there's no complaining. There's no politics. There's no whining. There's no talking about politicians. This is about us moving forward for 2 hours, a positive plan. And we're going to leap. Tomorrow, people will be able to download the business plans we wrote. And you can have it. You can talk about it at the kitchen table. You can mark it up, change it. But this is full transparency. We wrote a plan. Typically, this happens behind closed doors.
Right.
We've written these plans, and they will be available to everybody as of tomorrow morning. People can register at operationhope.org and actually listen to the Global Town Hall. Roland Martin is going to be streaming it. You guys are going to be there. We've got, I think, the Associated Press is going to be there. We have all the networks who have moderators, part of it. We've tried to be as inclusive as we can.
We should stream it. Nick, we should stream it.
We
thought about that.
We got a video yesterday from the new chairman of the Senate Bank Committee, Tim Scott, brother.
And that's this weekend. What time?
It's 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April 4th.
Today.
Right, yeah.
Today.
Yeah, and it's noon to 2 Central Standard Time.
Gotcha.
Dr. King, by the way, was assassinated April 4th, 1968 at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's the exact time. He actually had a pillow fight right before he was assassinated. He had just relaxed, and he knew he was going to be. He knew he was going to be killed. The night before, it was the only time he ever collapsed on stage. He gave a speech called The Mountaintop. I've been to the mountain. I've seen the mountaintop. I may not get there with you. He knew it. And he collapsed in Andrew Young and Jesse Jackson's arms and others. And the next day, Andrew Young tells me they had this incredible pillow fight in the hotel. We'll be at the Lorraine Motel, by the way. I will today. And he just thought it was eerie that Dr. King was so light. And he walked on that balcony, boom, and the world changed. And what nobody knows is later on the FBI told Ambassador Young the instructions for the shooter was if you missed the dreamer, kill the strategist. Wow. That's Andrew Young. So he hasn't been able to sleep for all these years.
Oh, wow.
The guy who created the Ozzie and Harrietville for black people in the world, Atlanta, Georgia, is the only international city in the South. $550 billion economy, the same size as Singapore, by the way. So we've proven we can build a world economy. The guy who did that, who brought the Olympics to Atlanta, the only mayor ever mentored by Dr. King, can't sleep.
Wow. Wow.
So we owe him a debt. We owe all the heroes and sheroes and leaders who came before us a debt. We owe those who are trying to fight for our civil rights now a debt to carry on this work and not just to be about me, but to be about we. This is you can't just be selfish anymore. Like we have got to be about all of us, and this is our time. If you want to be a part of history, you want to feel like your life really mattered, it's right now, in my opinion. And there are answers to these questions. I mean, there's nothing that we talked about this morning that's rocket science.
So tune in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dream Forward.
How do they tune in again?
Town Hall on financial inclusion. And what's the website again?
You can tune in at operationhope.org, where you can register at operationhope.org, and it'll stream. And hopefully the Breakfast Club and iHeart, by the way, is covering it. Black Information Network is covering it.
Nice.
We have many platforms. Again, Roland Martin's going to be covering it, and we have our own stream. You can if you get lost, just go to operationhope.org, and there'll be instructions there. Or just follow Charlamagne. He'll be with us.
Guys, too.
I'll lead you there.
But this is no time to be. This is no time to be. I understand stress, and I understand this is serious.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you're just gonna give up, throw your hands up, you might as well be positive about it. I can't guarantee you that being positive is gonna make you succeed, but I absolutely guarantee you that being negative is gonna make you fail.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And these folks want you to give up, by the way. They want you to throw your hands up. That's why they did all this stuff in the first 60 days was to flood the system, overwhelm you, so you throw your hands up and you give up. No, we're not going to give up. We're going to double down. Mm. And we're going to be a North Star. What I want at this meeting is civility. I want us to be civil. I want us to be elegant. I want us to be intelligent. I want us to be thoughtful. Emory University's already signed up to work on the plan. They were so impressed with what we were doing. Their economics department said, this is a great plan. We, along with Clark Atlanta University Business School, will work to build this out for 6 months between now and the Hope Global Forum in December, where we have another version of the plan. And everybody gets to participate in, not everybody, but the 100 delegates will get to participate and help to shape the plan. So what's going to be announced at the meeting is the framework of the business plan. I talked a little bit about that today. I mentioned there's $750 billion available just for Black. This is the Black American plan through credit score increases. We can do that ourselves. I'm doing that at Operation Hope, increasing credit scores 50 to 100 points. By the way, don't pay anybody to raise your credit. That you don't need that. We do it for free. Mm-hmm. You can be a homeowner. 44% of Black people own a home, compared to 75% of our white counterparts. The number one way you build wealth in America is home ownership. Mm-hmm. Brothers, we talking about, John Bryant, always talking about owning a home. I don't own the home. The bank owns a home. If you don't pay,
yeah.
In fact, if you don't pay, if I own the home, if I loan you the money, I'm gonna own the home. Like capitalism, we've got to stop being emotional also, man. Like capitalism is a gladiator sport. Mm-hmm. Here's capitalism. This is a table. You're on one side, DJ MV, I'm on the other. You're the capitalist, I'm the consumer. Your job is to extract as much money from me while giving me the least. My job is to pay you the least while getting the most. This is my job, and that is your job. And every successful negotiation is where everybody leaves it slightly annoyed. That's a success. You know, you've been in real estate. You know that to be true. Mm-hmm. If somebody's too happy and somebody's too sad, somebody got messed over. Mm-hmm. That's going into a car dealership in the hood, right? Mm-hmm. So it always drives me nuts when I hear these artists talking about, these, I'm going to go to some taboo areas. These Jews in music business, they robbing us. First of all, you weren't saying that when they gave you the record contract. And this is not the Klan. This is not, nobody forced you to sign a contract. No, you should have got your attorney. It's that business, that person's job is to negotiate the best possible deal for themselves. Their job is not to give you anything. Mm-hmm. Their job is to take every dollar they can off that table. Your job is to read your contract.
And negotiate.
Mm-hmm. And you, I don't want to, I just want to do music. Well, you about to get robbed. Quincy Jones told me, God rest his soul, if you think you're in the music business and you don't own music rights, publishing rights, or licensing rights, or some kind of rights, you're not in the music business. You're a temporary performer. It's a music business. It's the business of music. So your job is to go to an attorney and read the contract, have it reviewed, come back with changes, red line, notices. Charlamagne reads his contracts. I know that. Go back, say, no, I don't like this part. I don't like that part. I don't want that advance. That's a loan. That's what it is. It's a loan. Negotiate. I want to, what they do in the NFL. I want a signing bonus. I don't want a loan. Renegotiate. But you can't come back 4 years later because life didn't work out for you and then say, you're a racist. Right. All of a sudden, no. That's a good negotiator. You should be applauding them, actually. They did their job. So I'm just trying to make it plain. Like, we have got to knock it off. Like, we've got to, when the rules are published and the playing field is level, we kill it. Look at you guys. You're the biggest in the planet because you know what you're doing. Sports, we kill it. The arts, entertainment, music, we kill it. Faith, we kill it. politics even. President of the United States. We kill it, Obama. We went to the top of the mark. Why can't we do it in capitalism? I mean, I'm just asking. It's not like we did it, we tried it and it didn't work. That's why I started out with these numbers about the government. We've been obsessing about the government. We've been at this trough for too long. They're kicking us out. We should want to leave. They're kicking us out. That's what's happening in Washington. But we should have left 40 years ago.
To build our own.
That part.
That's right. That's right.
Well, today it's going to be a financial inclusion dream forward. It's a virtual town hall, and we appreciate you for joining us, brother.
Always, my brother.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
And make sure you subscribe to John Hope Bryant's podcast, the Money and Wealth podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio Podcast Network. You can get information like this all the time.
By the way, it's top 5% of all podcasts.
That's right.
I was stunned. I was looking at it last night. It's number 32 on entrepreneurship podcast for everybody.
Love it.
On Apple, and it's top 5%. So our people really do want to know, like, how does this stuff work? Like, they really do. I had 800 million video views in 2 years. Now, that's nothing to you guys, but I'm talking about a boring topic like
That's a lot.
For money?
Absolutely.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So every week something hits 1 million views. One of my videos gets, and people are like, you should look at it, and it's like 2,000 shares, 8,000 shares, 10,000 shares. People want to know how this game works. Tell me how this stuff works, John. But no one's broke it down to them. I don't know what this is. Successful people, I can't figure it out. I don't know if we're hiding. I don't know if they're afraid. I don't know what it is. They want to keep it all to themselves. I was in.
And John's giving it to people, not selling it to people. There's a difference.
What did Jay-Z say? I'm giving you. His 444 album was a financial literacy album.
Yeah.
We're talking to him, by the way, about a partnership with financial literacy. He said, I'm giving you $1 million for the game for $9.99. I'm giving you for none 99, right? I was at this meeting, which I can't say what the meeting was, but it was a meeting of billionaires in Florida early last year. And I couldn't figure out why all these wealthy people were discouraging home ownership. I'm in this meeting, and they want everybody to rent. And they're trying to tell me that people don't want to rent anymore. And I'm like, well, I was born at night, but not last night. Like, I read the newspaper, and I read report, and I got data. And my data says that most people actually want to own a home. They don't know how to. And I think I figured it out, because it makes no sense to me that my rich friends who tell you not to own a home. The rich people telling you not to own a home own probably 3, by the way. This might be an interest. By the way, this is just capitalism. I'm not hating on it. When you think about Uber, Lyft, I know, by the way, we partner with Uber. I love Dana, the Dyer, the guy who's the CEO. That's renting you a ride. You can rent an RV. Help me out here. You can rent dang near anything now. It could be that people are saying, you know what, we're gonna own all the houses and all the assets.
To rent to people.
Y'all just rent. Just rent your life. Yeah. Your generation, you just want to go have fun. Fine. If you want to be ignorant, if you want to be cool.
See what you did.
You go rent your life. We'll own it. We'll take care. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. By the way, I'm a landlord, but I want you to move from rent to own. I don't want you staying with me forever. I don't want you working at McDonald's for your entire life. I would say Walmart, but by the way, do you know that if you're a general manager of a Walmart, you're making $1 million a year? Did you know that?
No, but thank you. I'm in the wrong business. Hold on.
That's stunning to me.
Yeah.
It is. If you're working one of these big box retailers, you're making as much as $1 million a year. I almost passed out.
Wow.
There's opportunity everywhere. People have got to become obsessed with financial literacy and AI literacy. Everything is going to change by 2030. By the next 5 years, if you got a high school education and you lazy and you chilling, you messed up. You toe up from the flow up. This world's going to leave you absolutely behind. Van Jones, who'll be at the meeting, said that 99% of black people don't know a thing about AI. But 99% of white people don't know a thing about AI either. This is mutual discrimination. And if you're an accountant, your job might be gone because AI is going to remove it. If you're an attorney, your job might be gone. But if you can master artificial intelligence, everything's going to change. You want to ride the horse of how AI accounting is going to be next, or law is going to be next, or what you've seen, robotics and automation technology completely transform radio and media. So this stuff is changing underneath our feet. If you're working at a CVS or a grocery store, you went into one. 5 years ago, 10 counter clerks at the grocery store, 1 tester line for self-checkout. Go to the same grocery store today. 10 self-checkouts, 1 teller. Tell me I'm lying.
Nope.
That's real.
You're not.
Go to CVS or Walgreens. You might not see a teller
At all.
at all. Go to the airport and go to the fast food restaurant. It's a tablet.
Yep.
It's it's happening
You know
right
what you want.
in front of us. Folks have got to be obsessed about what we're talking about here. Your life literally depends on it. And if we master this country can't survive without black and brown people and women. God has a sense of humor. I'm done. When I was here last, I said this, but I'm a double down. It's never been in the history of the world you cannot be a global economy. You cannot be the world leader unless you're the economic leader. There's never been a superpower that wasn't the economic power at the same time. Rome, France, Germany, whoever it was, right? Britain. We're the world leader, we're the economic leader. There's never been a situation where it relied on minorities to sustain that. Ever. In 1950, America was 90% white. Not 1850. 1950. America's now incredibly diverse, and there's not enough college-educated, successful white men to drive GDP, gross domestic product, for the next 20 years. There's just not enough of them. I want every one of them to be successful. There's just not enough of them. So unless we want to be speaking Mandarin in 20 years, my rich friends eat my poor friends to do better, if only to stay rich. They actually need us. I'm going to say something real crazy. Even the Klansmen, even the most racist white person you've ever met succeeds when we do.
Well, today, tune into Dream Forward,
That's
a
right.
virtual town hall.
On financial inclusion.
And we appreciate you for joining us,
Salute to
brother.
Operation Hope. Thank you, John.
It's John Hope Bryant. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.